from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
When choosing a dentist for our family, Tupelo Smiles was the answer for us. They greet us with warm smiles right when we walk in the door, and they make us feel so welcome. We love Tupelo Smiles.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 5.
Well, hey there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon in downtown Tupelo. It is time, or at least that time of the year, to be thinking about the next one. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon, and we are here at the beginning of the celebration for New Year's Eve in Fair Park. Hopefully you'll be able to hear me over some of the entertainment. Got a lot of things going on. Kid Fest beginning now for all the kids. And of course there'll be a ball drop later on, and food vendors. Just so many things to do on what thankfully is a beautiful evening, including reflect back on a 2025 that's been amazing. And that's because of you. Thank you so much for all the support that you've given us here on Mississippi Live Weather all the way through the year. And we're looking forward to a 2026 that hopefully is even better. So as we look at the forecast through the rest of this evening, and we look at, again, the headlines for tonight, again, we are wrapping up 2025 with what will be just obviously some pretty nice weather, all things considered, especially considering where we were a couple days ago. Milder conditions are there to start the new year. And certainly tonight is milder, but we're going to be in the 60s for highs tomorrow, so that definitely counts. Now, we are watching some rain chances that do arrive before we get to the weekend. We're timing those out for you coming up here in just a couple of minutes. But our forecast for the first 12, 41 at 7 p.m. And considering that that was high temperature territory a day or so ago, tells you how much we have improved. We'll look at 37 by 10 p.m., 35 by 1 o'clock in the morning, and back into the mid-30s as we head toward the very early morning hours of tomorrow. Mama Justice Live Doppler radar showing up clear and dry. You notice I don't have rain hood on here, so that's one of the things showing us that we're in pretty good shape out there at this instant. Those temperatures are cool, but listen, not frigid. When we're in the mid-40s, like right now, showing upper 40s, in fact, in Tupelo, 50 degrees down there in Tuscaloosa. There are 60s back to the south and west. That is the building warmth. That is what's on the way for tomorrow. And the colder air to the north and east is on its way out of here. Wind chill temperatures still have a little bit of an issue, but we're only knocking off 4 degrees. That's about as calm as we've been all week long. So a major improvement in that regard for whether it's here in Tupelo or any of your outdoor activities on this New Year's Eve. And luckily those winds continue to calm down as high pressure continues to build into the area. One of the big things that this system has brought with it, as always happens with one of these strong high pressure centers, is that we have drier air that has moved in. As you can see there, those dew points coming in the neighborhood of the low 30s. That is higher than the teens where it was last night. Why does that matter? That's a sign moisture is slowly starting to come back, but we're still dry enough that, again, we have another cool night on the way for this evening. And some questions as to how much moisture we start adding back in before that next system arrives. You see that H down there in the Gulf of Mexico? That is gradually working its way toward the east, but the return flow on the west side, that's taken a while to get here. And so while our rain chances do come up a little bit more by Friday, not convinced on the amounts. We'll look at how much we could be talking about for rainfall totals for that coming up here in a couple of minutes. But looking at Futurecast here for tonight, we expect we'll continue to kind of keep conditions in the mostly clear. Clouds back to the north and east as close as any of those are to us. Our winds, you can even see just looking at the dots, kind of returning to the south, a sign that we're starting to bring in a little bit more moisture, sort of. And while we do have that front, you saw how close it kind of got to the north. It's a sign that we don't really have any true drop in temperatures with that one, as the pattern keeps us relatively dry and obviously not as warm as last weekend, but nowhere near as cold as we began the week to begin the new year. So happy New Year to you. New Year's Day 2026 is going to be starting off in the low 30s, maybe some upper 20s out there. We'll be 59 by noon and 62 as we head toward tomorrow afternoon. Normal this time of year is 53. So we are way above that value for your Thursday. Of course, it's a big day in a lot of ways. Some would argue one of the biggest days, and certainly this century in Ole Miss sports history on the way forward. Tomorrow, we're looking at that forecast for the Sugar Bowl. We're looking at the forecast for Alabama out there in Pasadena, California, and that's the one that really does have some weather issues related to it. And the Duke's Mayo Bowl involving Mississippi State. All of those forecasts. Plus, we're talking to Lucia Randall here with the city of Tupelo about the amazing celebration they have getting started here and what you possibly should consider doing tonight. That's as Mississippi Live Weather continues here from the Room to Room Weather Center right after this.
For 6 hours only, New Year's Day, Room to Room has 3 incredible offers. Half off, no sales tax, and 60-month special financing. Plus prize giveaways every hour. For 6 hours only, Room to Room Tupelo, where we know there's no place like home.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
This portion of Mississippi Live Weather is presented by Little's Jewelers.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
There's no way I could be the only one who's excited about it being 2026, but we are very much excited here in the Tupelo area and looking forward to you joining us here in downtown Tupelo on what is just an absolutely fantastic evening. With me is Lucia Randall with the city, and thank you so much for joining us here on Mississippi Live Weather 6. It's a festive atmosphere out here, as expected. You're expecting a midnight, obviously, a lot of folks.
A lot of people. The weather couldn't be better. Thank you, Matt.
Well, I wish. I don't claim the bad days, so I can't claim the good either. So what can folks expect tonight?
Tonight, they can expect 2 stages, Main Street stage and the Fair Park stage. Live music starting about 9 o'clock on both. We have DJs on both stages until then. We've got a wide variety of food with our food trucks.
I know. I saw just a huge number. I'm getting hungry.
The downtown restaurants are open. We encourage everyone to do that. Kids Fest is going on now. Those kids are having a blast over there. It's just going to be a great night. We have a beverage tent. Anything you want is in downtown Tupelo.
And this is nothing against y'all. When I moved here, my wife and I were like, God, we wish there was something going on New Year's. There really is now.
Yeah.
And something that's pretty unique to this. I mean, honestly, half of the state.
Right. There are not any New Year's Eve parties going on to our knowledge in North Mississippi. So we thought this was a great opportunity. We started in 2019 and we've been going ever since. And it's turned into a magnificent event.
Okay, so people can expect, obviously, what's going on for the kids, the food and everything right now. At the stroke of midnight, what happens for someone who's never been here?
Right.
They've seen the balls drop in New York City. What can they expect in Tupelo?
Century Construction is our title sponsor. They have on the street right beside City Hall, or just down in City Hall, a Century globe that comes up and hits the guitar. There's a countdown. As soon as it is at 12 o'clock midnight, the fireworks go off behind City Hall. It's just great. Everybody's here. It's just a great sense of community, camaraderie. With the fireworks going off, the band plays Old Lang Syne. It's fabulous.
It sounds like a great time. We'd love to see you out here for this evening. Lucia, thank you so much for their Mississippi Live Weather. I'm praying you guys have an amazing New Year. You just have so many amazing things going on downtown Tupelo. You guys outstay this. We're just glad to be a part of it.
Thank you, Matt, and thank you for everything you do for Tupelo and our community. We appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much. Lucia Randall here talking about, of course, an amazing night here in downtown Tupelo. Okay, so 2026 only hours away, and if you're looking ahead toward what you can expect for tonight, really going into the next full day, I expect it to be this evening, for example, a little cool, but not super duper frigid. Yeah, we have those temperatures mid 40s at this instant, and honestly, we're overperforming temperature-wise that forecast at this point, as we're coming in about 45 degrees right now on our expectation. We're actually just a little bit warmer than that, so a sign maybe we could be a little warmer even at midnight. Hopefully that's the case, but 35, that temperature by the stroke of midnight later on tonight. Looking out and about at this evening, again at those temperatures in our Tupelo area at this instant coming in 46. So yeah, just a little bit above that projection. I mean, listen, this time of year, and at least for my wife, every single bit of temperature change there makes a difference, and a lot of folks look forward to that there. So temperatures coming in about, 13 to almost 15 degrees warmer than they were yesterday at this time. That's a pretty substantial difference on that increase from most locations across the region, as we're 47 in Houston, 46 in Starkville, it's 50 in Louisville, and coming in 45 there in Oxford, and 42 in Iuka. Wind chills, there's a little bit of a wind chill, but it's only slicing off maybe a degree. So again, not a huge difference from where it was, with the actual temperature. And note that again, looking at Futurecast as well, there's just not a big difference between those two numbers. So this evening and overnight, we keep it clear. By tomorrow morning, down to around 31 degrees in Tupelo and Amory, 32 there in the Uport area, 33 Grenada, and 37 for Greenville, and for Cleveland coming in 33 for that wind chill temperature. And so yeah, a little cooler, but not a big drop there, not a big difference between the two of those. Okay, so as you can see here, looking into the next couple of hours, again, we keep it mostly dry into tomorrow as well, with those temperatures going 59 degrees by right there around noontime. Obviously, no wind chill at that point, as we're heading to the 60s there for highs by tomorrow afternoon. And we keep it dry, but as we mentioned, those southwest winds, kind of a sign that we're starting to bring in a little bit more in the way of moisture, and that eventually will yield some rain chances by late tomorrow night and early on your Friday. So New Year's Day, high low 60s. That's above normal, to the tune of almost 10 degrees above where we typically would expect to be for this time of the year on your Thursday afternoon. As we go into Thursday night and early Friday, you start to see a little more cloud cover arriving. Now, you notice initially here it's not much, but a greater quantity of that cloud cover there by right around 6 o'clock in the morning, early Friday morning. Those showers continue to kind of spread through, maybe a couple of rumbles. This is not severe weather. Honestly, probably not storms. And honestly, as we talked about earlier, dry air is really the story. How much moisture do we have to overcome that? It's possible the Futurecast here could be just a little bit heavy on that strike model, but at this point, certainly expecting those rain chances to be better part. The best, honestly, we've had in the last week, probably arriving there as we go into your midday to afternoon time period there on Friday. Again, moderate showers, really at most, no storms with that. So what are we talking about as far as rainfall totals are concerned with this? At this point, we expect, maybe, honestly, on the high end, a quarter-inch of rainfall. It's really kind of as we go into through the day that we start to see that. Now, Futurecast does say not possible 3/4 of an inch near the Tennessee state line. I really think that is an aggressive look at things. We need the rainfall. Unfortunately, Drought Monitor, new one of those comes out tomorrow. We don't expect it to be good news. We expect it to be an elevation there, unfortunately. So rainfall, something that we definitely need. Just don't need it tonight out here at Tupelo or for any of your outdoor plants. So over the next 4 days, we're 61 for the high temperature on your New Year's Day, 58 by Friday. Again, those showers kind of holding temperatures down just a little bit. As those move out of here, we dry things out by Saturday and Sunday, and those temperatures remain mild, remain above the 53 or so we should be for this time of year into the first weekend of the new year. 7-day forecast has us to 55 again Sunday, 62 by Monday, and we're mid-60s as we look toward Tuesday of next week under what should be, again, mostly cloudy skies. But as far as more meaningful rainfall, storms, things of that nature are concerned, we don't really have that over the course of the next 7 days. Something, of course, you can check out anytime in the Mississippi Live Weather app. Okay, coming up here in 60 seconds, we're going to be looking at the latest on the forecast for Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Alabama, your SEC football forecast brought to you by Carl Hogan Toyota, and a preview of the game. Multiple, talk a little bit about, not just the Ole Miss game that we have going on there in New Orleans, but also one as part of a doubleheader up in the Oxford area. Our Will Kohlmeyer right after this.
1 in 10 kids vape. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes.
The Health Class Film Guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Talk to your child about vaping today.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. But only you can prevent wildfires.
Hi, I'm Ryan Blaney, a third-generation race car driver. And we dedicate a lot of our time to going as fast as possible. But when my grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, it was a very unexpected bump in the road for us. It's important to notice if older family members are acting differently, experiencing problems with their memory, or having trouble with routine tasks. Early detection of Alzheimer's can give your family time to explore support services, make a plan for the future, and access available treatments. If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together.
Right foot, 2 steps. Well, the kids are having a lot of fun out here at downtown Tupelo. Their celebration started at 6 p.m. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon. Thanks for joining us on Mississippi Live Weather. As I kind of pan things above for just a moment, you can see all the kids doing a little cha-cha. It looks to me like I see a lot of kids of slightly older age up there as well at this point. You know, a lot of folks getting really excited about what's going to happen, of course, with Ole Miss down in the Sugar Bowl. We have your entire SEC football forecast in a moment, but a preview before that from our Will Kohlmeyer.
Welcome to the Ole Miss campus. I am hanging out inside the pavilion, and I know you're asking, Will, I think we're talking Sugar Bowl, but actually it's going to be a doubleheader on New Year's Day between Ole Miss and Georgia, and it starts here in the pavilion as Coach Yo and the 15th ranked Ole Miss women's basketball team takes on Georgia at 2 o'clock. They moved that game up, which was a good move because then both teams and their fan bases can watch the Sugar Bowl that night. And now let's take a look at the predictions when it comes to Will's winners. Thanks to the Ole Miss win over Tulane and Alabama's come from behind win on the road at Oklahoma. Got both of those, so 37-6 on the year coming in to this week. And we will start with the Ole Miss matchup down in New Orleans, and we all know the Rebels need to play one of their best offensive games of the year, no question about that. And Kewan Lacey needs to do better than just 12 carries for 31 yards like he did earlier this year in Athens. They're going to have to light that scoreboard up like they did the first 3 quarters. Remember, they had a 9-point lead going into the fourth quarter in Athens before getting outscored 17-0. That's when that fourth quarter offense went stagnant, and they cannot have any kind of stagnancy this Thursday night against Georgia. And yes, Georgia is the safe pick. But I'm thinking this dream season for Ole Miss will continue, and I'm going to go. It is a nervous nod, but I'm going with the Rebels in an upset over the Bulldogs. And this one, folks, could be one for the ages. We'll keep an eye on that one. Then right before the Sugar Bowl, it's the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, Alabama, and the number 1 ranked team, Indiana, squaring off in the Rose Bowl. Of course, the Hoosiers perfect 13-0, and they've knocked off 3 teams in the top 10. They ambushed Illinois when Illinois was ranked 9th. They knocked off number 3 Oregon at that time when Oregon was ranked 3rd. And then, of course, they dismantled, well, not necessarily dismantled, they bettered number 1 ranked Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game by a field goal. And those are the 3 ranked teams that they played. Yes, they were all in the top 10 and they were all victors, but Alabama has had a much more difficult schedule. They've had 7 teams in the top 16 rankings while they played them this year, and they won 5 of those. So that's extremely impressive. So yeah, the Crimson Tide, a more difficult schedule than what Indiana has faced. But you can't take anything away from the Hoosiers. I mean, they have run the table. They got the Heisman Trophy winner in Fernando Mendoza. But this is all new territory for IU. And Alabama, obviously battle-tested. They're used to this environment. And yes, I'm thinking upset. I'm going with Alabama knocking off the number 1 ranked Hoosiers. And then there's Mississippi State. They get the invite. They'll be in the Duke's Mayo's Bowl in Charlotte, taking on a Wake Forest team that's 8-4 this year. And remember, the Demon Deacons back in early November, they were actually ranked 9th in the college football playoff rankings. Had a couple losses down the stretch, but they beat some really good teams. They've knocked off Georgia Tech. They beat a Virginia team that beat Missouri the other night in a bowl game, and they beat SMU. But they haven't faced the schedule that Mississippi State has faced this year. And with Kamario Taylor, boy, he brings another level of excitement, doesn't he? And what he did against a very good Ole Miss team at times. I know it wasn't throughout the whole course of the game, but you can see that potential and what he can make happen. And he just kind of glides through a defense, doesn't he? So I'm thinking if the defense can hold their own, yes, the defense was near the bottom of the SEC rankings this year, but the defense coordinator is gone. So if the defense can hold their own and Kamario Taylor can make some plays happen, get some of those big chunk plays like he did against Ole Miss, I'm thinking Bulldogs knocking off Wake Forest. Even though Wake Forest is an 8-4 team, I'm going with the Bulldogs in this one. So, and don't forget, of course, the big game, Ole Miss and Georgia. Ole Miss trying to win the rematch against the Bulldogs. The last time Ole Miss lost twice to the same team in one season, it was way back in 1918 against Mississippi State. So that's my last nugget of 2025. But that's Will's winners here at Ole Miss. We'll send it back to the studio.
That's our Will Fulmeyer with his winners this evening here. Excited again for these games to be here. Huge playoff matchup starting tomorrow. And of course, we'll have one more look at that from our Will Fulmeyer tomorrow as folks are just very, very excited to, I think, see where things go from here and see if Ole Miss can continue its march toward a laneless national championship. Did I say that? I said that. And you can see everybody doing the third slap and having a good time here, at least the kids in downtown Tupelo, as we are getting ready here for the big New Year's Eve celebration tonight. And, you're looking to possibly come down here. Of course, we'd love to come and see you. Let's talk again about those forecasts for the games. I kind of alluded to some, actually show the forecast there. And we'll start again with the one that most likely to have some issues there, and that is the Alabama forecast. 90% likelihood coverage of showers early in the day, possibly still around as we go toward the beginning of that game. We're 61 by halftime, 56 by the conclusion of the game, but obviously temperatures make less difference than all the rainfall does, which is obviously going to be a bit of an issue for that game there. We expect no precipitation issues for everyone heading down to Big Easy for the Ole Miss game. Obviously, it's an indoor game, so the weather not going to factor into that, but maybe your plans if you're heading around the French Quarter there or just in general in and around New Orleans. Expect it to stay dry, mild, similar to what temperatures are here up in North Mississippi and Mississippi State. Maybe a very limited chance for a couple of showers by the conclusion of that game there in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. Expecting that again to be mostly cloudy and temperatures in the 40s, but that's not that dissimilar from where temperatures were if you went outside tonight. So if you happen to still be planning on going, you haven't gone yet, again, it looks like those temperatures will be in good shape. And do appreciate Carl Hogan Toyota for sponsoring our SEC football forecast here. As we get back here again and wrapping things up on Mississippi Live weather here at 6. Love to see you here in downtown Tupelo for all the events going on tonight. Again, if you're just joining us or maybe don't know, there's not a lot of New Year's activities here in North Mississippi. We can bring the whole family out. And this is one where they have food trucks. If I flip it around here, you can see behind me, that direction there. A lot of different food trucks and vendors out here. Some beverage vendors, yes, for those adult beverages as well. This is my reminder here to make good choices and don't drink and drive tonight. It's certainly something that puts other people's safety, other people's families at risk. And so just make the responsible choice and have a designated driver if you plan on doing that sort of thing this evening. But we thank you so much for supporting us all of 2025 to this point here on Mississippi Live Weather, and so excited for what God has in store for us, for you, for everybody in 2026 as we continue this grand digital experiment across North Mississippi. And we just want to thank you so much for your unending support and what that means to us. I don't think I'll ever be able to put into words, because this has been easily the craziest year of my life, my family's lives. But thanks to you, it's been a good one. Our next live broadcast is going to be tonight at 10 o'clock. Our meteorologist, Caleb Edelblut, will be tracking the very latest again on your forecasts for all those SEC games, in particular any tweaks that need to be made for that Alabama forecast and the rainfall issues associated with that one. And looking toward
any of the rainfall totals for North Mississippi later this week as that next storm system moves toward us. That's coming up at 10 o'clock and live broadcast every day, Monday through Friday, 6:30, 7:30 a.m. and 5, 6, and 10 p.m. here from the Room to Room Weather Center. Thank you for your support. Download the weather app. Let people know about us and our vendors. I'd say our vendors, our supporters, our sponsors. If you enjoy what we do here, let them know you watch us on Mississippi Live Weather and you see them there. We'll see you at 10.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. You know, we knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lawpon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lawpon has proven himself trustworthy.